Hi, everyone. Welcome to our presentation. We are Team Kirby Pink. I'm Charlotte.
I'm Caitlyn.
I'm Mac.
I'm Bryan.
We are showing you guys the Jester app. So we had a brainstorming session and we came up with the app Jester. And the original concept for this app was a motivation app that gives you positive encouragement throughout your day, so that you can be your best self. And it'll help with your mental health and stuff. And then some sample tasks that you would be able to do with Gesture would be to input important dates so that you get encouraging reminders to try some of your favorite activities if you're feeling down, if you've had a bad day, and then customize reminders to take care of yourself, like drink water, exercise, take a break, call a friend. And then we also conducted interviews. We interviewed students and then just in general, some busy people. And we found some user needs. The first being reminders of tasks that are incomplete or must be done every several days. Uh, we also found that positive encouragement through words would be helpful. When people get stressed, encouragement can help motivate them. Uh, and then a way to input custom notification reminders. So, for example, a reminder to do the laundry every Sunday at 2 p.m.
This idea that we decided to go forward with for our storyboard was a positive encouragement notification for events that you're stressed over. And then we have our storyboard over here. Unfortunately, because of Figma, we were not able to do an actual notification, but we still went with this idea. So for our lo-fi design, some of the original design requirements had to do with adding the custom event to your calendar and creating the to-do list. Some of the more specific requirements for adding the custom event to your calendar were naming that event, adding the date, time, and if it repeats, choosing a severity level, an option to add extra notes to the event, and selecting the event color were just some of the ideas that we had. And then for the think alouds, some of the common notes that we got back from those was about mostly about the limitations of Figma. In fact, it was low fidelity. There's just like a lot of lack of feedback, and certain features were just unclear and unable to be made. And structure of the to-do list, as you can see by that picture there, some of the individual pieces were not placed correctly, so we had to adjust that. So the revisions that we decided to do was focus on the new event and to-do tabs, like adding a button to go directly to adding a new event, moving things around, just giving more feedback overall.
So after trying to work around a lot of those updates and just making our low fidelity prototype into a high fidelity prototype, we decided to do some evaluations, the heuristic and cognitive walkthrough. And from those, the top issues we found were that the users still weren't able to give input just due to Figma. And that was just something that we aimed to fix, especially in the new event tab. Also, users couldn't get clear feedback while making that new event. A lot of it was left to the imagination. For example, kind of imagining putting in that feedback and having that input and getting feedback. That was a lot to the imagination. And we also wanted to change the notification title. It was originally called the alarm, but we don't necessarily want an alarm, more of the notification. And so we wanted to make that more clear to the users. And then also some other issues that weren't as severe is creating a new event error message if needed. So as of right now, our prototype, if you don't fill in all the information and save it, it still goes as normal. And so realistically, we would want, if we don't have all the information, we wouldn't want you to be able to save because it wouldn't have all the information. We would need some type of error. And then we also want feedback when something was saved, so maybe a little notification or a star or something, whereas right now it just brings you back to the calendar page. And so after those evaluations and those issues, here were a lot of the main things we decided to change. First and foremost, the title, the time, and the alert time were changed. So now they're drop down, and as you can see, they take in what the users would input, giving them feedback. And then also, the alert time was changed to notification to be more clear. And then just a walkthrough real quick to see how it works. This is the calendar. You can kind of go back and forth, and then these buttons will lead to the new event, or you can just go through this bottom tab. Again, these are drop-down buttons, so you can add, anything you want, um, and then save it whenever you're done, or cancel, and it'll bring you back to the calendar. We also have our to-do tab where you can click off anything that's over here or go to your completed tab. You can add a new task, or do anything like that.
Okay, now next up for the next portion of this, we did a survey. So for the survey, we've already collected quite a bit of information as to problems with the Figma, complications users running into, design flaws or aspects while creating the prototype. And while we resolved a lot of those issues, we were still unsure as to how to design and make the app welcoming and calming for a lot of users. So we decided to, conduct a survey to get a grasp as to participant interest and their preferences for what what themes they would want on the app. So one of the surveys we did was based on the two versions of the app with two color templates, one being blue, green, and orange, and one being blue, yellow, and pink. We decided to see what preferences users had for one or the other. So next slide. Now for the survey, we got some results back, and it was kind of interesting. While we first started with version 1, the blue, green, and orange, which was the basis for our application up to this point, we found that users much more preferred version 2, which had blue, yellow, and pink. They found it to be a lot more calming, a lot more relaxing, and they overall enjoyed it much more.